Now, I know all of you might have been expecting something today, but we had a bit of a change-up, and today we have none other than the word alchemist herself, the writer for Fortune 500 companies and rock star entrepreneurs alike, Hillary Lauren, I'm going to mess up the last name, Jastram.
You almost got it right. It's Jastram. You almost did.
Jastram. I was close. I was very close, guys. You see, that's all that matters. Close. That's what matters in life is close.
It's like a mantra.
Right. It's like a mantra of life. Now, we're going to give it a really quick second while I make sure to share everything out and make sure everyone knows that we're going live. Hold on one second. But welcome, everybody, once again to Idea Factory Live, the show that covers some of the edgiest topics, teaching you all the things about being an entrepreneur and being freaking awesome that you could ever want to know. Today, we have... don't forget to share it. But today, we have Hillary. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about how you have made a living off of being a creative writer.
Okay, well, it's been a journey. It's been about 2.5 years now, and so I started out of necessity. So I used to work for one of the largest Midwestern furniture companies as their web content admin. I worked for Best Buy. So what I did is I channeled all of that experience into starting my own company, which I had to start when I got chronically ill. So I became the mother of reinvention and patent pending. And so I had a company on the side, and I've had it for years. I would just do jobs here and there, but this really necessitated that I make an income so that we didn't have to live on the street. And I found that I really liked it. I loved it. And then it just took on this kind of momentum itself, and it kept growing, and it was amazing. And also I'm the one at the parties that's always hanging out, and trying to make people laugh. And then I don't know if they give you a courtesy laugh or whatever, but so networking was super easy for me. And I got really good at asking. I got really good at just saying, hey, I'm going to spring this idea on you, and what do you think about it? And so it just kind of started this rolling momentum. And now I am busier than ever. I brought on a team last week. And I'm trying to really find that balance, but the book editing side of things has exploded this past year. Personally, I think I'm on my 11th or 12th personal book edit, and that doesn't count my team members and my editors as well. So, and it's I'm a big fan of letting the opportunity find you and kind of quote unquote what's ever easy, not really easy from the standpoint of I'm going to be a lazy sloth, but from the standpoint of it found you. So be open to it and then respond to it because it's finding your aptitude. So I started rolling with that, and then working with Ryan Stewman, the hardcore closer, was he pushed my professional game, but also he got in my head, man. He got up here. So it's just been this wild, crazy flume ride of awesomeness.
I mean, you've written for some insane publications. I mean, we're talking about, because I was looking at your website. Let's see, there was Entrepreneur, there was Influencive, and a number of others. I mean, we're talking about some of how did you describe it? I believe you described it as the Fortune 500, basically the Fortune 500 companies of news outlets.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Huffington Post. And another one that's close to my heart is The Mighty. The Mighty is one that people might not have heard of, but they have a circulation of 150 million.
Oh,
and
wow.
So, yeah, and so it's just not only close to my heart because I write about chronic illness and eating disorders and things like that, but you really can reach out to people. You really can influence their healing. And, as I have often said, my purpose, it's turning pain into purpose. So whether it's your history, where it's you had a rough childhood or something like that, or you're going through a divorce or whatever the case is that you can learn from those and turn them into almost opportunities. I know it sounds crazy town, but I mean, you really can, and you can grow from it. So that's what I do for the Mighty. For the Huffington, it was just trippy to get on there. I was like literally like drenched in sweat. I sent out the begging letter, like the please find me enough, and then the next morning I woke up and I had the Blogger account. So I did what anybody would do. I started screaming, and then and I blew through my deodorant again. And then I was running up and down my stairs, and it was just like, oh my God. And so, but what I want to impart, because I have a lot of people asking me, how do I get the visibility? How do I build up my brand? And whether it's your personal brand or whether it's your business brand. And I talk about the trifecta. So the trifecta of writing and being noticed and your marketing is, number one, it's trend. So you want to piggyback on those the topics that are being searched on a lot, okay? And then you add your own spin to it. So not only are you piggybacking on that, now you've created your own search channel for people. And this also contributes and builds up your relevancy, which improves your SEO and blah, blah, blah. But that's not my lane, because that's your lane, so I'm not going to talk about it. But then there's the prolificness. You must not be a commitment phobe when it comes to your writing. You have got to sit down, best practices 2 to 3 times a week. And then when you're done with that, you're not done. You need to blast it out to your social channels. You need to make sure it's on your Facebook page. You need to make sure you're talking about it on your Instagram. You're pulling quotes out, creating a meme. And the third piece is the budget. So don't be afraid. I'm not talking about like $1 million on one ad. I'm talking about like 5 smackaroonies and you don't get your designer coffee that day. But
right.
You do get an increased, reach, visibility. So that's what I tell people, is that get writing. It doesn't have to be perfect. Put out a writer's hat and get yourself into that moment. I'm a writer right now. You're not an editor.
Or a bear coat.
Or a bear coat. Exactly. Yeah.
Or a bear coat. But no, really, it's true. I mean, ever since I've met you, I've been able to see a lot of these amazing people who are very similar to people like myself and many of the others who we've had on the show, who are these amazing individuals who have really stepped out of their kind of small little box that everyone kind of starts in, and have really reached out and grabbed, really exciting and interesting things. Could you tell us a little bit more about some of the kind of interesting people you've gotten to work with?
Oh man, it's insane. These people. I wrote a press release for a gentleman who is working on biohacking. And biohacking describes like hacking into the physiological components of the body using things like different sorts of lights and just like weird, crazy electromagnetic stuff and whatever. So I just was like gobbling it up, because I think he had Lyme disease, if I'm not mistaken. So he was trying to treat it in that way. So I've met people like that. I worked for Prima Life Organics for a while. That is an organic skin food company. And so I was sent like $1 bajillion worth of organic skincare products, and it was amazing. And I was like, oh my God, what is this root? It's incredible. And then, of course, there's the hardcore closer, Ryan Stuman, who is a no BS guy, 100%. Like, when I am afraid of myself, seriously, especially editing his last book, F Your Excuses, which is the F word, in there, but I can't say it. So... fudge your excuses, because that's how he talks, like he's very like
fudge.
Glove.
He says fudge, shoot, crud.
Yeah,
shiitake,
crud.
Yes, shiitake, crud.
Sickles,
fudge-sickles, yeah.
Right. He's all about the food aspect.
Yep.
Known for that,
Yep.
So, but his last book.
Yes, Tyler Rammer's here, everybody. Fudge.
Woo! So his last book, though, was amazing from a mindset perspective. And it will make your mind hungry, Tyler. It truly will. But from a mindset perspective, and it's about things like blasting through your upper limit. Sometimes you just have to sit in your uncomfortableness, and breathe through it, because so many people are in tune with, the survival kind of place that they've grown up in, and they're used to it. And, when you're growing and you're increasing your reach and you're kind of, woo! Okay. When you're increasing your reach.
Did you read that just as you were?
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows what the sudden woo was. Tyler Rammer says, I have all his books. Smiley face.
Yes. So Tyler and everybody else who's read his stuff knows that it is crazy, but you got to push yourself. You have to get comfortable with the new you. You have to get comfortable on camera. You have to get comfortable with your crazy New Jersey hair, even though you live in Minnesota, y'all. So you gotta, it's these things that your message is bigger than some of these self-limiting beliefs that you have about yourself. And so he's just one of many. Like, I worked with Jason Lucchese, who literally wrote the blueprint on, like, you read his book, go be a real estate investor and make $1 billion. You can do it. You literally can do it. So I've written for, or kind of quasi ghost written and edited for a number of people in the real estate sector as well. So I'm getting really, really familiar with it. And then one day I was like, Hillary, you are a dipwad, okay? Why are you editing these books and then not creating an empire? I'm like, what?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And you wrote a book yourself too, didn't you?
I did. My book is very surprising because it's a novel. It only took me 8 years to finish. So I had to exorcise a particular demon from my soul, and the exorcism was like 8 years long. So it took me 8 years to finish. I started it in college. We had gone to a field trip to a place called the Crystal Court, and my instructor had said, I want you to pick out a person, and then I want you to assign like a history to them, who they are, what they do. So I picked out the grayest dude I could find. He was like dressed all in gray. He had like a gray complexion. In retrospect, probably not healthy, so maybe I shouldn't have picked him. But anyways, I turned him into a murderer, and then I wrote from the perspective of his wife. And I started this book before BTK, Bind, Torture, Kill, Dennis Rader was arrested, before Stephen King's book, The Perfect Marriage, came out. Yes, and actually, I pitched Stephen King as like his publicist or like his gal at the desk, his gatekeeper, and then I think he stole my book because he came out with it later. So, Mr. King, I still idolize you, but I have to say, not cool, dude. Not
cool, dude. Not cool.
Yeah, it's quite the departure from what I talk about now. I talk about healing. I talk about inspiration, motivation. I talk about becoming an abundance magnet. I talk about letting that belief kind of being open, to learning what others can teach you, and making sure that you are receiving those lessons like gratefully. Also, and this is crazy. So I have 2 citrine stones. And then I have a crystal that goes with it, and they're in this little purple mesh bag, and I carry it wherever I go. And my husband just laughs hysterically at me. But because citrine creates abundance, and the crystal can be programmed to strengthen that. So literally, that is what happens. Like, I will get referrals out of the woodwork. I haven't advertised my business. My business has run solely on referrals, in part because I'm kind of afraid to advertise until I get a team in place, because I'll be like, sure, yeah, I'll do that for you. Oh, crap. Yeah, it's crazy.
Very true, and I believe your team has expanded. So how many team members are you up to at this point, realistically?
I think I have 5 including myself, and but then actually I have another person who's not official yet. So, but it has been necessary. She's a proofer. I have another editor. I have 3 copywriters, and one doubles as a graphic designer. She is my college, she's like my college peer. And we worked on creating this fairy tale book out of like real fabrics and ribbons and things. And we did it as just this surprise aspect editing for this hotel. It was to be like a fairy tale book you would leave on their pillow. So we got a really good grade on it. It's super cool. And I'm trying to think where it is because I want to show it to you.
So you got to get your props ready. You got to have all your like books and be like, boom, boom.
I know. Boom, I really do.
Boom.
I know. You know what? But my props and the green screen that occurred during testing, like that is a testament to.
Green screen. I don't even know if we could call it a green screen. It was like a purple mist with a green infrared U.
Yeah.
Tyler
funny.
says, tell Stephen King to get bent.
I will after the adoption papers are signed. We're in the final, stage of that. So I don't want to mess anything up.
After the adoption papers are signed.
Yes.
Hillary Lauren King, right?
Oh
The daughter
my
of Stephen
God.
King.
It's like it's meant to be. It's like the mothership or the fathership calling me home. That's amazing.
Mothership calling me home. That's amazing. So what books have you been working on recently, or can you speak about any of them?
I can speak about them in a shroud of secrecy.
Ooh.
So one gentleman is poised to explode his personal coaching. And we've been working together for probably a couple of months. In the vein of being a therapist, editor, butt kicker, I guess we'll, if we could create an acronym if you wanted, I guess, not sure what it would be. Yeah, if anybody has any suggestions.
Tab?
Yeah, I don't know.
Therapist, action, butt kicker. Or no, wait, therapist, editor, but it's a tab.
So it's a tab. So it's a tab that.
Tab.
Okay, we got to get that copyrighted, like trademarked right now. We need a graphic designer stat. Let's go.
Let's go. Right now.
Yeah, so he's one.
Right now.
He's one. Another gal, I'm working with her. She is a wealth advisor. And here's a fun fact. Back in 2007, maybe, I was a marketing manager at a wealth management company, and I worked there for like 3 months, and then it was like, I'm having a really hard time relating because I don't have any wealth, and so I think that this is not the greatest fit. But what I took from that, I did learn things like when you're dealing with wealthy families, you need to be aware that there is a problem child in every single one who is literally blowing the money right up their nose. So, and there's a lot of that management that goes along with that. So anyways, that's one of the books I'm working on is wealth management. And another book that I have going, I've got several up in the air. I've got one that's super, super fun. It is the telling of a love story, which is a kind of, it's a different thing for me because I usually do a lot of entrepreneurial nonfiction. So this is a true story, but it's a different kind of subgenre. But the love story is told in a surprising way. So I invite you to tune in.
And for those of you who are just tuning in to us as we round the first quarter, or wait, yes, first third of the podcast. You are watching with Hillary Lauren. I'm not going to pronounce her last name again. And yes. And we are talking about her amazing journey into the world of entrepreneurship, as well as creative writing, marketing, and many, many more. And much, much more.
Much
more. So who's the most? So far, what are you looking forward to in the next couple of things happening in your life?
Well, my website's getting a facelift, like even as we speak, and it's one of those things where I can sell my fanny off. Okay, I totally can. Like, I know from a strategic perspective, because I'm also a marketing nerd. Like, I just totally dig psychology and motivation and why people do things. But from a strategic perspective, I can line it up and say, okay, customer, this is your need. I'm going to fill it. And you're going to feel great about the purchase that you're making. From an executionary standpoint, one of the most valuable lessons I've learned this year is to work in my strength. So I'm fine saying, if you want me to draw a bird, I will draw you a kick-A bird right now. You'll be like, that plume is amazing. It's majestic.
It's beautiful.
Yes, but if you want me to lay out a website, I am restricted to what the theme offers. So in that vein, I have brought on an insanely intelligent person to help me with that. And so we're developing packages that we're calling mini packages for my company. So that's one thing I'm super excited about. And then in return, like, my website is getting done too, so it doesn't look so dorky, because it's really hard to be taken seriously when you're a super dork, or SD, as I call it. And, and so, yeah, and I just, you like that?
Well, let's not call it SD. I think another acronym would suffice. Let's just say the internet's done a number on many acronyms out there, and let's not use SD as one of them.
Is this a millennial thing that I don't understand?
Let's go with that.
Okay. Because I had to get off Urban Dictionary, because I was like, I cannot handle the content. Although, before I understood it, I made sure that I submitted a definition, and it was accepted. What
did you put in?
X-hole.
X-hole?
Yeah, that's like your ex who's an a-hole. That's what it is. It's an X-hole.
Wow, okay. Yep. Everyone, the inventor of X-hole. Beautiful. I love it. Beautiful.
We gotta have goals, and that's like, that was one I was like, check. Okay, we're done. Other things I'm excited about. My team, I love my team. I'm so fortunate. I just am in this network of people who are producers and do things. And so they feed me. They feed me like this crazy ravenous energy that I can't get enough of. And I literally have to be in the present moment and say, get out of it, you crazy rabid fool. And like, you're in Minnesota on your porch watching your dogs in the backyard. Like, you're not, like, get out of your head and just be present. So I'm super excited. Also, I am oh God, that's funny.
It is my majestic bear coat, of course.
I love it. That's awesome. That's totally awesome. Like, people are going to know you're memorable. People are going to know that about you.
Oh, well, at least those who watch on the Facebook Live. Those who are listening to this on SoundCloud later, tune in on Facebook Live at facebook.com/IdeaFactory. Online every Sunday, 1 p.m. EST, 12 p.m. CST. Just slide that in there, just slide that in real quick.
Beauty, absolute beauty. Love it, love it.
Molto bene.
Molto bene.
Oh my God, my Italian friends are going to kill me for probably butchering that. And I do have a few. I have no idea if they're watching, but I know I messed that up.
We got love. There's mad love over here. It's good. It's mad love.
So, let's talk about getting started, because that's always the question that every single person always asks. How the hell? How do you get started? How do you do it? How do you get started in choosing that passion and going?
Okay, well, first of all, let's define passion, because many people think that passion is something that is like Liam Neeson in the movie Taken. It's going to reach out and grab you under the bed. Like, you're not going to have any choice. That's it. Passion has you. You know it. It's not true. Now, in my case, passion is like a stallion running down the beach. It's dragging me behind it, but whatever. It's fine. That's just me. You know, other people, though, may have a number of different passions. And in fact, I have worked with somebody who is highly intelligent, and he was able to do everything as he described it pretty much fine. Like, I can hit the note here and hit the note here, and I'm pretty good here and I'm pretty good here. And I like doing these things because I'm pretty good at it. So it fills me with the confidence that I should do this and that this actually is my passion, when in fact, it may not be. It might be an aptitude. Passion should move you, but it doesn't have to move you like a tsunami, okay? It can be a consistent lapping wave, but it comes at you, you know? It's relentless, whether it's relentless and charging at you, or relentless like, hey, I'm always going to come around at 3 o'clock and knock on your door and ask you to tea. Every single day, I'm going to do that. So you have to define your own passion. It's super important. And I think you'll know it. Like, I'm a huge gut operator. So if something feels wrong, I now can say, no, I'm actually not going to do that. And I wrote an article to that effect called, I Said No and Pissed a Bunch of People Off. So it's about discovering what you want to work in. So that's the first thing, is that you need to really tune into that and figure out what do you want to work in. Second to that is, I don't subscribe to then gather up all this information and do a bunch of research and blah, 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 blah. What feels right to you? Some people might say, you know, become an apprentice or work with somebody or barter with somebody so you can learn their skills. No. Answer what you want to do. If I say, okay, you're going to be a writer, that's great. You know, you have to sit down and you need to write. You need to work with an editor, okay? If you're writing in a professional capacity, what's the first thing that you want to do to blast out your message that you're a writer? So I'm asking you right now, Mr. Bear, what is the first thing that you want to do?
Oh, like actually asking me. Well, I'd say the first thing I'd want to do is tell people of, you know, why I wear the bear coat, I guess, because that would be, you know, as a professional writer, this is not an image that I plan to part with very soon. I plan to use this to prove a point. Plan to use this to prove the fact that it doesn't fucking matter what you look like. Doesn't fucking matter what you wear if you got your passion behind you.
We can say the F word, and I've been saying
fuck
this whole time.
Oh, yeah, no. No, we are not PG. Sorry to say, anyone expecting a PG words here. We can curse. We can.
Okay, that's crazy.
Fill their ears with.
So I'm going to take you on a little trip down memory lane for just 1 second. So I told you a million years ago I went to broadcasting school because I wanted to be a news anchor. And I did some practice with the chroma key. Weather was terrible because I would look at the screen in front of me, but then my hands had to do something different. So I was like, over here and, over here. And, so it was terrible. But the newscasting part of it, I really enjoyed it. And I worked for 2 news stations, actually. And so I have my FCC license. And so it was hammered into our heads that no F words, no S words, no B words, no C words, no P words, no Q words, no Z words, no whatever. Right. And then, so that's just hammered into my head. And I did one voiceover, probably 3 years ago. I played a disgruntled college student.
Oh.
And then... But I got out of the broadcasting industry because it was depressing. It was so depressing. It was like, hey, what do you have for leads? Well, I've got 5 children who died in a fire. Oh my God. No, I can't handle this. So I had to get out. And so that's just a little departure. But back to your point of you're answering within yourself of what you want to do. Now, it's not to say don't have a plan, because you need to have a plan. You need to address certain things. How am I getting my message out? Identify your mediums. And from that, we use what is known as umbrella or a trickle-down effect. So I start with this objective. It's a marketing objective. And FYI, that's what I went to school for. So I'm not just a copywriter, editor, blah, blah, blah. Like I can tell you, blast it out, and this is how you do it. But so you start with that objective, identify your mediums, and then underneath that, you identify the steps that you need to take, and you need to make sure you're tuned into measurable goals. So it's really important to say and take that pulse. This is what's working. This is what's not working. So guess what? It's going to be thrown out the window. Like the next time it's not working, you're not going to go down that route again. And you use your consumer insights. You actually go into what people are looking for. So, when you're starting as a writer, you can't be afraid to write like shit. You can't. You've got within the body of your copy, think of it, and a lot of it today is leading with storytelling. Because storytelling is relatable, it creates an emotion and an attachment to a person, and it's conversational. It allows you to be kind of more casual in that way, and then you follow your beginning, middle, and end. Make sure that your middle is not a saggy bottom middle, but it must be, your objectives, your aims are laid out here in bullet points, whatever, and then you're recapping while we're writing. But what happens is that you have sentences that have different designations. So one sentence might be, I'm communicating this, and I can get a little splash of color in it. So we want to dial back the floweriness, like not everything is like a lilac field that a unicorn is prancing through, okay? Some sentences are like the I-beam of a house. They're a bridge. And those bridges are really freaking ugly sometimes. They're like just a mess, like you're using driftwood to nail it together. And when you're reading it back, it sounds like shit. That's okay. Don't be judgmental about yourself when you're writing. Put your bear suit on, your bear coat, right? And get into it. You are the writer. And I tell people put a hat on. When my kids were younger, I had to wear a hat because they were like, oh, mommy's Facebooking. But I needed a visual component so they could look and say, oh, mommy's writing. So I tell people wear a hat and write. Be that writer. Just get it out and let your writing surprise you. Then you take that hat off and then you put your editor hat on and you go, okay, well, that's crap. We obviously need to fix it. But you included it, and it just really speaks to the power of imperfect action. You have to do it. Don't let your fear of judgment paralyze you into not acting. There are so many people who say to me, I want to write. Can you help me write? Can you help me pitch? Can you help me do these things? And I say, great. And I put it back on them, and I never hear from them again. And they don't do it. And obviously, they're not doing what they want to do because fear is holding them back. It doesn't matter if somebody is watching you right now. It doesn't matter. Right. It doesn't matter. It matters that you take action. And guess what? Being prepared is probably like 75% of how I get my jobs. I have people say, I need a quick turnaround time on this right now. I need you to send me a bio. I need you to send me your calendar link. Can you whip up this copy for me? And you get the job, okay? And the same is true in writing. If you want to be taken seriously as a writer, you better write. And that means sometimes you're writing stuff as you're writing, you're like, I am the greatest writer alive. And then, and then you get like one like, and then you're like, okay, I'm not the greatest writer alive, but like it really moves me. So you do internal work in that way. And it's okay because you're building your portfolio. You're letting people know. So anytime I have somebody say, I want to do business with you, send me samples. Oh my gosh, you better believe at the ready, within 5 minutes, you're going to have everything you want to see and more. because that demonstrates that you're serious. So I went all over the place with that. So preparation, answer your gut, identify what your goals are, and it really does come down to marketing. Who are you speaking to? What does your reader want to hear? Deliver that expectation, and use things like coschedule.com. I'm not paid for that at all, by the way. It's a headline analyzer. Yeah, shameless plug. It's a headline analyzer that uses a criteria aggregate to spit out one overall median score, which tells you based on emotion, based on urgency, based on unique words, if your headline is going to cut it. Use also things, I think it's subjectline.com, same thing for emails. You want to make sure that you have these tools at your disposal. It's the same way as when I work with my IT guy and he says, scrub this link. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then, I learn something. You've got to know the tools. You've got to keep up with your tools. But start somewhere. Take one step. You have 20 minutes in your schedule. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you start while you're on the toilet when you're usually Facebooking. I do not care. Start somewhere. Everybody has time. Go to bed 20 minutes later. Sit down and blast out your first blog. And it's done. And it infuses you with the possibility of what you can do yourself.
Awesome. Fantastic. And as we are rounding the half-minute mark, that means we will also be opening it up to live Q&A. So if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask Hillary, myself, please feel free to post the comments or the question in the comment section below, and we will answer them live. And if you have a question and we are not live, please feel free to still put them in the comments section below. You never know what'll happen when you're live. In the comments section below, and we will still address them even after the show is done being live. But as we round the half-minute mark, Hillary, please tell us how people can reach out to you. What is the best, if they want to really get started here, what is the best way to get started?
Well, the majority of my business actually takes place via Facebook, if you can believe it. I check my message requests frequently from that standpoint, but most definitely they can reach me by email, jhillmark@gmail.com. They can go to my website, jhillmark.com. It's Hill, by the way. A lot of people are like, what? Is it Hil? Because your name is I know I didn't think it through. Okay. So, so they can do that. Yeah, those are the main things. The main
Hillary,
avenues.
When did you, this one's from Patrick Pitts. He asks, Hillary, when did you learn you couldn't do it all and needed to get a bigger team?
That's a great question. And it's something that is an epiphany that I've only had this past year. So it's very fresh and real right now as I'm living it. So this past year, I worked with a partner. We were hella productive, like crazy. Had business just flowing in. I freaked out. I pulled the plug on the whole thing. That was me shrieking and running from the upper limits. So I did it again because you can't step back from what you want to do. It's just going to keep pulling you forward. So I had no choice, really. It's like, I'm prisoner. Help me. So I did it again. And this time I just allowed opportunity to happen. And I got very realistic about what I could accomplish myself. And I knew one of two things could happen. That I would be booked up forever into infinity, and people would be waiting and be like, yeah, I'll edit your book, but it'll be 18 months till I get to it, man. No, that's not going to happen. So I want to still make sure that I'm taking care of people. I want to still be a part of that story. But I also know some amazing people through publishing on these large-scale publications. These are crusaders. I mean, they are crusading in their word. They're crusading in their life. They're learning and hungry and all these things. And it seemed a shame not to share, because then I started to identify, wow, one of the things you're really good at is like attracting jobs. You're like super killer at that. That's great. So share that. So share that with people. So I had to get really realistic with myself, and it meant handing off some opportunities that I would have done myself, and then kind of being involved from almost a managerial or overseeing it process until I felt comfortable with that person. And it's been great because it allows people to grow. And then you're a facilitator of that to some degree. Now, it's their journey, it's their growth, but you had a small part in the story, you know? And it's very heartening when I have somebody say, I'm so grateful to you because you helped me get this job. I'm getting a new place now. You know, it's amazing to be just a small chapter, or not even a chapter, to be like one paragraph in there, you know, or maybe like a half, I don't know. But get very real with yourself about what you can do. And then I also discovered time blocking. And time blocking was amazing because now I'm blocking time to work. I'm not just blocking time to take phone calls. I'm saying I've got this big project coming in and I'm going to need these next 2 days to block it. So I'm not taking calls until like the next 2 days. But you need to get real with yourself about your capabilities, and sleeping is important. And I was going on like, I know, it's crazy.
Bear, do you know anything about this sleep?
Yes, I don't know anything about this sleep thing.
Yeah, Bear, I really, it's very new to me, honestly. It's very new to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding. But no, it's Colleen has has helped many people realize they need to actually go the hell to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's like for me, because like, I'm an old lady right now. So I love tea and shawls and sleep. No, but especially I do have a chronic illness. My illness is like MS. And so it's just basically, it lives in my spinal cord instead. So it's like this unwelcome roommate that I have to deal with. Like, you left your dishes out, you inconsiderate boob, like it's a terrible roommate. So, but I have to respect the needs, of myself and what I need to do to function. So my butt better be in bed and dialed down by like very latest 10 o'clock, and then if I'm going to get any sleep, I'm starting to realize I have to beat my husband to it or we're all aboard the snore train, and it's so you have to look at the needs that you have personally. The sleeping level of stress is huge. Do you like to work out every day at a particular time? Build that all around into your life. And if you're finding that you have to give up those things, and not to mention quality time with your family. I've got 3 kids and I've got a husband and I've got insane animals. And I love every single one of them. And it means something to me. So I make sure that I make that time. Every day my business stops when my husband gets home from work. I turn into a 1950s housewife who uses a microwave a lot. And then and we eat dinner. We eat dinner and we don't have phones. And we listen and we make eye contact. And literally, even if it's an hour and a half of family time, like I will not give that up. That's important. So you carve out your work around those important times, make sure you're respecting those, then bring on people that are going to push your intellectual and creative limits as well.
That's a very good tip. I mean, you have to create the circle around you that is the most, the most growth potential and the most the best that you can be, so that you have all of these people who all want to push you, instead of it just being like you, the lone voice. You've got all of these people pushing you up, the echo of a push to push you up, up, up until you kind of breach through that echo chamber and you get to be that own individual. And that, I mean, you get to work with literally influencers themselves in the actual definition of it. And you yourself are one too. And I mean, it's the feeling of, if you think about it, the feeling of being able to push people through that echo chamber is a lovely thing. I mean, What kind of success have you seen, I guess? Because I mean, you've probably seen some people shape their almost much of their not just business but like lives in this way.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of lifestyle changes. I've seen people that have written their books and then they're going on vacations, to Hawaii. I've seen people that have quit their jobs, quote unquote, quit their jobs. One gal in particular, she was straddling being a writer. She's one of those people that just came out of the womb creative. Like she's probably a really super creative baby, but and I would talk to her. And she is a writer and an influencer in her own right. So she's like, I would categorize her as like mom blogger, but I actually hate that category because even though it's very understandable because it's so limiting, she's so much more than that. But she started reviewing products and she started getting sponsored posts and things like that. And it just started picking up speed. And so we talked a lot about when she would quit her job. And man, I am telling you what, I was pushing some major sunshine up her ass. I was like, you are not going to believe how your life will change. You are not going to believe it. Old you cannot even grasp what you don't know you don't know. So you have to believe in your potential. And the more that it starts unlocking, the more that you go, oh, this is my reality. This is who I am. This is where I'm supposed to be. That's exactly what's happening with her. She is snowballing as well. She contacted me like, hey, you or your team members, can you jump on this project? And it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. She has quit her job. It was a government job. It was like, bolting her shoes to the floor in her cubicle. And she was just so trapped and she was dealing with very dry and just negative issues and just like she was dying one cell at a time every day. I know, right? So to see her running her own business, to see her partner who is staying home as a result of this, that they're able to do this, you watch these transformations. And it is incredible. So I'm so fortunate. My news feed also, and Seth talks about pro tip a lot with me. He's like, hey, pro tip. And I'm like, oh, God, I should have known better. But here's a pro tip for people who are looking to attract that abundance and that positivity. I'm telling you right now, maybe at some point you will hire a coach from some type of skill set perspective, okay, and to offer you some motivation. But on the cheap, right now, what you need to do is start hiding your negative peeps, okay? I'm talking about the ones from college that are like, Mama, I am calling you out. You ain't never been a good mama to me, and I can't believe blah, 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 okay? I had one gal like that. I had another one who was like, Peter, if you're reading this, you know why, and the hell you've put me through. So it was like, that is not where my energy is going. Your energy has to go into your potential. It absolutely 100%.
Hillary Lauren.
What's that?
Oh, I said Hillary Lauren, now available for professional voice act.
I did that. I went to Hollywood in 2002. I did not tell you the Hollywood story. 2002, I went to Hollywood. I was going to be an actress. And I actually had my trip paid for. I met with the producer of Frasier. And then I auditioned at Paramount Studios and I blew it. I played it so Midwestern. I blew it. They were like, I don't know what you're doing right now. And I was like, that's all right, because I'm just going to flirt my way in with this hot man who is totally gay. All right. So I bombed. But to get in, I did this Southern accent of this girl who was like frogs. Frogs was everywhere. They was on the porch. They was under the porch. And I was like, Jim, get out here and help me catch them frogs. And they were like, we want you. You're in. It's crazy. Always reaching, always getting outside your comfort zone. Like, is that where your hunger is? Do you always look and say, what's down the road? I want to be not better, but I want to expand more. You know, I want to learn more. I want to do this particular thing. If you're always thinking about it, take one step. One step.
Exactly. Take the first step. Take the first step is the best way to start. I mean, if you don't, you're just going to waste your entire life and be like, I never took that step. That sucks. Bleh.
Yeah, and you'll die that way. You'll die literally with the face you just made and with those thoughts. Literally.
Yeah, exact thought. Exact thought. Exact regrets. Why didn't I do that thing? It would have been so easy to just do, but I didn't start. I didn't take that first step. Out of fear.
Yeah,
out of fear.
Out of fear. Mm-hmm.
Out of fear. And as we round our last 10 minutes in this podcast, we're going to be wrapping up here. So if anyone has any final questions for Hillary, we will be taking 1 or 2 questions depending on the length. And then we will be doing a little bit of our wrap up and talking about who's coming next week on Idea Factory Live.
Ooh.
So in the meantime, let's talk about so are you going to write another book? Have you thought about making one for yourself again?
Oh boy. I am actually going to publish 2 books this year.
2 books.
And one of my stories is scheduled to be published later this year. It's called Driving on Kindness. And it is about how the unusual way, with the help of people, that I acquired my driver's license. Yeah, I know.
Oh, wow. That sounds wonderful. So we have our last question, and we can always touch upon that later. We'll have her back maybe next year. Do a full rotation, come back, visit everyone again. Patrick Pitts asks, what was a crossroad you approached and felt you made a right decision at that changed your life?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. That is a very good one. I'm going to say when it's actually 2, probably. Knowing me, I can't answer a simple question. I just have to keep babbling on like a crazy, out of control brook. But the ask, I had to get over that. If you're working with somebody, or you know somebody, or you can get in touch with somebody who can significantly change your reality, your business reality, ask. It doesn't matter who it is. Like when I'm working with authors, I coach them to always have a foreword written by an influencer, because there are 2 things at work here. It brings you greater visibility, but it also is an incentive for that particular author to send out your book as well. So ask, because you don't know. When I started working with Ryan, I contacted him and asked. I'm not even kidding. I was just like, it must have been a what the hell moment. What the hell? Get into your what the hell moments. What the hell moment. Yeah, when you feel all itchy and antsy and like, I either have to change my pants or I have to ask somebody something. I'm not sure what it is. Ask. It's okay. If you hear no, it's okay, because that better determines like who your circle is. Oh, okay, that's not really going to work out. I asked that person and they're not open, whatever. Or they want this or they want that. So that's the first thing. Get really comfortable with asking. There's no shame in it. And get comfortable with receiving help as well. So when I was sick, I had to receive help. I had to learn to not only ask, but I had to be gracious in receiving help and not turn into this self-deprecating, toadstool that just was like, oh, no, there's nothing to offer because I need help. No, you're a human being. Guess what? We're here to help each other. That's one of the most beautiful things ever. The more people that I meet, the more I learn that people are kind versus the other way. Like I literally, and don't take advantage of this, I literally don't want to be less naive when it comes to being suspicious of people. I don't want to live in that reality. So the first thing is to ask. And the second thing is that when you feel that you've hit upon something and it feels good and it's working, think about that like this might be a purpose for me. You know, it's really important that you're in tune to what is resonating. Like, I didn't actively set out and say, I'm going to edit books, but the pipeline is coming to me. This is a huge opportunity. So I had to sit back and go, oh, I think this is part of my destiny. And you know what? I'm not going to reject my destiny. I've spent all my life doing that and blaming other people. I published a blog that said, this was me in 2009. And it was like, do you ever feel like you're being dragged behind the truck of life? And then versus 2017 was like, there are so many opportunities and I'm so grateful and my life is wonderful. So
And that's great.
Yeah. Yep. And be open to opportunity.
It really is. Be open to opportunity. You heard it here, everybody. Idea Factory Live. If you're not open to opportunity, then get the fuck out. Because we are here to help you guys create your dreams, create your ideas, and make the most amazing things possibly happen. I want to thank my guest once again, Hillary Lauren, for stepping in, being a wonderful, amazing, awesome-tastic guest. Thank you once again for coming on.
Thank
You have been wonderful, amazing, and don't forget, you can check out her work at, what was it again? It was
jhillmark.com. jhillmark.com.
Mark with 2 L's.
Yeah.
Which we will put that in the description shortly after this video. Check that out. Check out the stuff with her. She's amazing. She's awesome. I can personally vouch for it. And next week on Idea Factory Live, we have Billy Alt from 700 Credit Repair. Learn how Billy, another member of the same type of community that I am in, has grown his business exponentially over the past few years. Tune in then, guys. And once again, thank you for joining Idea Factory Live every Sunday, 1 p.m. EST, 12 p.m. CST. Thank you again, Hillary.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Everyone, have a great rest of your day. And once again, if you have any comments, leave them in the comments section below, and we'll be right back to you. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day.